Hello everyone, welcome back to Accelerate Tutoring. Today we're going to look at how to derive the quadratic formula. Now, we know what the quadratic formula is. It's x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, these values of a, b, and c come from our general representation of the quadratic formula, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, this is a topic that most students will look at in around year 8, year 9 mathematics. And for some, it may be a little bit confusing, but in my opinion, the quadratic formula is your go-to when it comes to solving quadratic equations. Now, how exactly do we derive this formula? Now, this formula is actually derived from using the other method of solving quadratic equations, which is completing the square. And we start off by having our general quadratic formula over here as it is. Now, in quadratics, there are two types of quadratic equations. We have monic and we have non-monic. Now, what exactly is a monic and non-monic quadratic equation, you may ask? Now, a monic quadratic equation is an equation where the a value in the general quadratic formula is equal to 1, and a non-monic quadratic equation is where the a value is equal to any number but 1. So it could be -1, 2, 3, 4, so forth. Now, in the method of completing the square, the first thing we do is we want to make the quadratic equation a monic equation. So how do we do that? We divide everything by a, so we get x squared plus b over ax plus c over a is equal to 0. Now, from this, the next step we want to do is we want to make a complete square pairing. So how we do that is we take the half of our current x coefficient, which is b over a, and we divide that by 2. So we get b over 2a, and that is our perfect square. But we want to make sure we subtract the square of this term, which is going to be b over 2a squared. And then we have that plus c over a as our constant, and that's equal to 0. But the next thing we can do is take all the constants to the other side, so which gives us x plus b over 2a squared is equal to b over 2a squared minus c over a. Now we can go ahead and simplify the right-hand side, b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. Now we can simplify this further by making the denominators the same. So this gives us b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared, because we just multiply this side by 4a. Now you can see that we're getting close to our quadratic formula. Now the next step from here, so right now we currently are at x plus b over 2a squared is equal to b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. The next step we can do is square root both sides. So when we square root the left-hand side, we just get x plus b over 2a. The right-hand side gives us plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. The final step, take the constant from the left-hand side to the right. We get x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's how we get our quadratic formula using completing the square. Now, let's actually look at some examples where we can use our quadratic formula to factorize some quadratic equations. So again, we know that our quadratic formula is as so, x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, when doing these questions, our step 1 is to determine what our a, b, and c values are. So in this case, it's a monic equation, since there's no number in front of the x squared, which means it's 1. So our a is 1, our b is 6, our c is 8, c is our constant. Now we can write our formula. And just substitute it in. So this gives us -6 plus or minus 36 minus 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 8 is 32, so minus 32 all over 2 times 1, which is just 2, so we can leave it like that. Simplify this further, we get -6 plus or minus square root of 36 minus 32 is 4 all over 2. This gives us -6 plus or minus 2 over 2. -6 plus 2 is -4 divided by 2, which is -2. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8, divided by 2 is negative 4. So those are our two answers, negative 2 or negative 4. Now let's try the next one. Over here, we have a non-monic quadratic equation because our a value in this one is 2, our b value is negative 1, our c value is negative 6. So again, x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This gives us negative 1 plus or minus negative 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 6 all over 2 times 2. Let's simplify this further. 1 plus or minus 1. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. Now in this case, negative times negative is positive, so plus 48. All over 2 times 2, which is 4. We get 1 plus or minus 1 plus 48 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7. All over 4. So this time we get 1 plus 7 over 4, or 1 minus 7 over 4. That's 8 over 4, which is 2. 1 minus 7 is negative 6 over 4, which is negative 3 over 2. So those are our two answers. Now this next one is also a non-monic quadratic equation. We have a is equal to 6, b is equal to negative 17, c is equal to 12. Now in most cases, sometimes it's best to simplify the quadratic equation beforehand, but in this case, we won't be doing that. So again, the first thing we want to do is write down our quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So in this case, we write 17 plus or minus 17 squared minus 4 times 6 times 12 all over 2 times 6. We get 17 plus or minus 17 squared minus 4 times 6 times 12. That gives us square root of 1 all over 12. So this gives us 17 plus or minus 1 over 12. So we get 18 over 12, or 16 over 12. And that gives us our answer as 3 over 2, or 4 over 3. So those are our answers, and that's how we apply the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations.